Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Poppy Moon, and I am an associate professor at the University of Louisiana Monroe. I am over the school counseling program, and today I'm really excited to talk to you guys about escape rooms. I was not familiar with escape rooms until one of my students in internships like, oh, we can do this really great thing. I want you to understand it. So we started messing with it, and I fell in love with it, and I really want to give it to other counselors so that they can use it too. So if you have any questions for me, you can email me. My email is moon@ulm.edu. So let's get into it. What are escape rooms? Escape rooms are basically an interactive, immersive experience where a group of people get together and they solve puzzles and challenges and they meet different goals in a particular time frame. I like these, especially for kids, because it involves a whole lot of things. They're going to be working together, they're going to be using critical thinking skills together, and they're also going to be solving problems. So I know that this conference specifically is focusing on building bridges, and I think escape rooms help do that because when you put kids in these groups together, then they are going to be able to build bridges with each other as they learn about each other and as they move forward through the game. So why use escape rooms? I think as an educational experience and a counseling experience that we are helping them learn how to use skills that focus on mental health. So all of the escape rooms that I'm going to show you today are ones that we have created that deal with specific problem-solving skills. One of them is for friendship, and the other one that I'm going to show you is one that one of my interns from this semester, she has been teaching them about different parts of the brain and different parts of emotions, so that one is going to show that as well. Escape rooms are also neat because it has to be a team thing. So you can't have that kid who always knows the answer and be like, it's me, it's me. They have to work together to solve it. And everybody in the group, I really want you to be able to give them a job. So for instance, maybe someone is the one that types in the answer, or someone is the one that opens all the keys to the locks if you have different lock boxes that you're using. Or if they are acting out in charades, like in one of the ones that I'm going to show you, we have someone whose job is to do the charades. So everyone will have a job so they all work together and not one student can be in charge of the whole group. What types of escape rooms can you make? There's a whole bunch, and I think that these are neat. The first one is linear. This one is best if you have beginners, if you have younger kids, or if you are using a small group, maybe you're having a small friendship group or a small group on communications. I think linear are the best for them. So in a linear escape room, you are working through a linear path. So they will start with one puzzle, they will solve that puzzle, which will move them to the next puzzle, which they will solve, and it will move them on to the next puzzle. So linear, it's just going in a straight line. Another option that you have is nonlinear. And this is good if you have a large group, if you're doing large group classroom guidance, and you need to be able for lots of different groups to be working on different things at the same time. So I know a lot of us in younger grades have used centers where students work at different centers on different things. So consider this like that, and I have different puzzles all around the room. And each puzzle is going to give the kids a letter when they solve it. And then they will take all the letters from the different centers that they go to. It will turn into a word, and then they can come to me and solve the final puzzle. So that's great because everyone can be working on different things at different times, but then they will come together at the end, and it will allow them to solve the puzzle, irregardless of when they worked on the puzzle. The next kind that you can do is mixed, and it can be a combination of linear and it can be nonlinear. These are a little bit more, it's harder to set these up. I think that the challenge is sometimes that it can get kind of confusing. So I recommend that you either use the linear or the nonlinear. That's going to be the easiest part. Now, designing your room. What's your escape room going to look like? First thing off is you want to choose a theme. Popular themes are escaping from prison, escape from Alcatraz. If you have detectives and they are solving a crime, maybe they are breaking out of a room to escape a zombie. Pirates, but my favorite, and I think it's because I am a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, escaping a spooky mansion. And that's one of the ones that I'm going to show you today. As you start to come up with your game, you want the game to tell a story. And telling the story is going to help them understand where they're going. So for instance, in the one that I'm going to show you that is Escape from the Mystery Mansion, I have them starting off in a spooky place. They solve the mystery, they move into the next place, and it has a description of where they are, what the room looks like, and then what the puzzle is. So they are moving through this narrative, they are moving through this story that you get to come up with. So before you start, just start brainstorming like, oh, I really like this. I really want the story to go this way. So where's the story going to start and where's the story going to end? You need to kind of write that all down so that you'll know what's happening. As you start,
Hi guys, welcome to the Mystery Man.
As you start the game, I like for there to be a place where you present the narrative. So you're kind of introducing them into what the problem is going to look like and where they're going. So you can do this many different ways. You can create a video, which is what I like to do. You can write a letter to the players and they open the letter at the very beginning and the letter explains stuff. For instance, maybe someone has died and they have the will and the letter explains to them the different parts that they have to go to get their inheritance at the end of the will. So it's up to you. You can also have maybe a page of a journal if you're doing a diary focused one, where as they work through the different puzzles, they are solving different parts of a diary. So it's totally up to you. So here's what it looks like where I'm presenting my narrative.
Hi guys, welcome to the Mystery Mansion. This is a escape room, a charade escape room. What you guys are going to do here at the Mystery Mansion is you will go through different rooms. And as you go into the room, there is going to be a clue for you. You guys will take the clue. One of you will open it and read what the answer is. That person is going to act out the clue. All of you will work together to figure out what's the thing that they are acting out. When you have that, you will type that in all caps into the space that is on the Google form. If you are correct, it will open up the next room and you guys can move on as you go through your journey. So I hope that you have a good time. I am here if you need me to help, but I'm going to hang out of the way so you guys have plenty of time to work on it together. Have fun.
So as it says, I'm there in the back of the room, kind of just hanging out. So if they get stuck on a puzzle or if they need assistance, I can come and help, but I am not going to be in the actual game where they are actually working together. So let's go over what kind of time frame are we looking at? So if you have about an hour, then you can probably do 4 to 6 different puzzles that they'll need to work through. I think it's a good idea to use a combination of easy challenges and hard challenges. So the first 2 that I'm going to put together, those are going to be fairly easy because I want them to have confidence that they can do this on their own and that they're going to have a fun time doing it. Then the challenges become a little bit more difficult, but not too difficult because you want it to be a fun time. I would say err on the side of simplicity. So if you're looking at a puzzle and you're like, ooh, this is a little much even for me, then you probably need to make it easier. If you are going to, maybe you were in classroom guidance and you only have a 30-minute block. And I'm going to show you a video of one of my interns. We created a game together. She's going to talk a little bit about what that looked like as an in-class experience. But maybe for that, you would need less. So kind of think about what's my age group? How many puzzles do I think that they could work through over a period of time? What's my time frame on that? Because it'll be sad for them if you start to run over and you have to leave the classroom and they don't get to finish because everybody wants to get to the end and they want to see what's going on. You will want to create a game flow chart. And a game flow chart is for you, and it just shows the list of the puzzles that they're going to go through and also the answers on there. Because sometimes if you have several escape rooms, you'll look at a challenge and you'll be like, oh no, I can't remember. I can't remember what the answer to that question is. So if you have a game flow chart, you know where it's going along and you know the different answers. So where they get stuck, you can kind of look at your little key card and you'll be like, okay. So this flow chart is actually kind of more, it's kind of involved. So let's just say your regular flow chart would start with the beginning room and it would just move through the different rooms. But this one, if you do have centers, then you can have it where it shows where your different centers are. And then when they do those and they come back to the main room, you'll have that right there. So game flow chart. Now the fun part, what kind of puzzles and what kind of challenges can I use? There's a whole bunch of fun ones. We're going to have ciphers, we're going to have secret codes, method description, message, and a bunch of other kind of cool stuff. So let's take a look at them. All of these that I'm showing you, I have a link to those on my slides that I'm going to be giving you. So when you go into that PDF on your computer, you can click on it and it'll bring it up. So all of these things that you see on here, I have links to. The first one is a code sheet. Everybody likes different codes. On here, it gives you different letters and then it gives you ideas that you can use for the letters. So here we have our letter, and they could use Morse code, you could use Braille, you could use these different kinds of symbols. Easy, easy, easy to come up with a word that you want and using the code sheet to be able to do that. One of the simplest codes that you can probably use is called @bash, and it is just the regular alphabet as it goes through, and then the alphabet is reversed. So when you have kids like 3rd grade, 4th grade, this is very, very simple. It's something good that you could use at the very beginning to kind of help them gain confidence into what's that going to look like. Okay, hidden messages. These are fun. If you're doing your game in your classroom and you're putting it together, hidden messages are great. So in this one, this has got a postcard decoder, and it has a bunch of words that they're going to get. And if they take the decoder, they can place that over the words, and it will give them the secret thing that they need to know to move on to the next one. If you are super fun and you like to make different things, here is a tutorial on how to make a secret decoder card. It shows you how to print out the different types of little abstract design, shows you how to make these goggles or these little glasses that they can put on. When they put on the glasses, it will show the secret word, and it's kind of cool because it's like in a 3D. So you can do that. This is for teachers or for school counselors who are really into kind of Etsy stuff and making different things. Next one is UV light. If you have UV light, you can get some special paint. You can write something on the wall. It's going to be fine because no one's going to see it unless you have a UV light. They can hold that up there, and then the secret word will appear. Another one that I like is object assembly. So let's say that they have a jigsaw puzzle. They have to put the jigsaw puzzle together to get the clue. That works, but if you've got super smart kids and you want to make it even more difficult for them, you can have them put the puzzle together. Then you have written in the invisible ink the clue on there. They have to get the black light, they show it over there, and then yay, it shows up for them and they have it. You can also use maybe you're going through it in a journal. Part of your story is through a journal. You can take different scraps of the journal, you can tear it up, and then they put it together and it has a clue for them. Lots and lots of creative ways that you can do stuff. Okay, here we have tiny text. You have it very, very small. They can barely see it, but you have a magnifying glass and they can get down with that magnifying glass and take a look at what the clue is. All right. Here we have cipher wheels. Again, I have a tutorial for you if you want to learn how to make a cipher wheel. But you can go on Amazon, and Amazon has a ton of cool things that you can purchase for escape rooms. And one of those are cipher wheels. And the only thing that the cipher wheel does is you have to match up 2 parts of the wheel, and that will give you different parts that you can put in your clue. So you can definitely make a cipher wheel, which is a lot of fun. But if you, if you have some time, go on to Amazon and see all the neat things that they have to purchase. Okay, here's paper strips. You can print out your clue on the different paper strips, run that through your shredder. It's going to give you a lot of different ones, and the kids will have to put those together. Probably a shredder, though, is a little bit much, so you can always cut these with your scissors to have those. Okay, here is one called Secret Letters. You have a little poem or something for them, and you have underlined the important letter for each of these. The kids will take those letters, they will write it out, and it will tell them. So in this case, it says under the hat. This one is good for a little bit older students. You have 3 different types of yarn, and each yarn is cut into a different size. So the students will measure the length of the yarn. It's going to give them a number, and then you can have like an old school locker, where you have to turn the knob on that. The 3 different numbers that you would need could correlate to the different lengths of the string. So that kind of makes it a little bit fun, and everybody gets to have a nice time working on that. Where are you going to hide stuff? Well, let's see fun things that you can do. One of those is a pin. You can open up the pin. You can have your clue on a small piece of paper. You can tighten it up really tight and stick that into the pin and put the cap on it. That's excellent. Another one is putting something on the inside of a photo frame. So if you have one on your desk or you have one in a special place because you're using that for an escape room, this is always a fun place to do it. If you are super, super creative, you can do a lamp with a message. And all they do when the lamp is off, you don't see anything, but when they turn the lamp on, the clue is there. I have a tutorial for you that you can link to be able to see that. Here we have a secret clue that you can put inside of a stick of gum. You can write it on the inside, fold it back up, put it in a pack of gum. That's part of the clue that they're looking for. Another one is a secret message in a bottle. You can make your message anything that you want. You can write your clue on the inside, stick it inside the bottle, and they will have to find that and take it out. All right. So this is what I want to show you is creating a game with Google Forms. As a school counselor, you are super, super busy, and you don't always have time to create an escape room. The neat thing about it, though, is once you have created the escape room, you have it forever. So you can use it as many times as you want. But let's say that you don't have as much time, but you still want to do this in a small group or in a large group. You can use Google Forms to create this. The one that I'm going to show you here is the Mystery Mansion, and it is a friendship escape charade, a friendship charade escape room. Let's take a look at it.
So let's take a minute and see what.
Let me pause it. This right here, I'm going to show you what the kids will see when they begin this Mystery Mansion in Google Forms.
This will actually look like once you create it in Google Forms. When the students open it up, it will come to this page and it says, "Welcome to the Mystery Mansion." And it gives a little background about where, how the high school students have found this mansion, and they are going to work together to find the key to understanding true friendship. So to start off, I have a little video that. Hi guys, welcome to the Mystery Mansion. This is a escape room, a charade escape room. And that's the little video that I showed you earlier. So the students will click next and they will move on. Now they are in the empathy parlor. And I have a little blurb here that tells them about the empathy parlor and things that they may see there. I've kind of given them a little background story of what the room actually looks like. Then they are going to do a charade puzzle in this particular one. And I'm going to have one student who's going to open the envelope in our magic chest, which is just looking on here, and they'll see this right here. And the chest is going to be an envelope, and they're going to open it, and it's going to tell them what the word is so that they're going to be able to act this out for their friends. So it's, "I'm a gesture of caring and understanding, act it out." And the answer is hug. So they would give the other one of the students in their group a hug, and the kids would be like, "Yay, it's a hug." And you will type the answer in here. So I have asked them to do it in all capitals. So it would be HUG. And I will click next. And it is correct. So that moves them forward into the next part of the game. And they have moved into the communication attic. And the attic is dusty and an atmospheric space. It has that right there explaining them. And it says, "You found a clue under an old telephone." So one student opens the envelope so that they will know what the clue is, and then they are going to act it out. So in this case, I'm an action representing cooperation. The answer to this one is high five. And again, I've asked them to do it in all caps. So I will say hi, and then say I get it wrong. High five. Or something, you know, if they type it wrong, what happens? And the computer will say, "Nope, try it again." The answer should be in all caps with no hyphen. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do high five. It's now correct. And it moves me into the friendship foyer. So again, the students will continue to do their charades. They will continue to act out different things until they get to the very end of the mansion, and they will be congratulated for going through and for solving the mystery of true friendship.
So I have put together a tutorial, and it's probably going to open up here. I put together a tutorial for you on how to use Canva and Google Forms to create these different types of escape rooms. This runs, I think, about maybe 20 minutes. So I'm not going to show it to you today because you can go to this and you can watch it, and it will go to the different parts of it. That way you can go through step by step. It will show you how to begin the form in Google Forms. It'll show you how to make the different parts of the escape room together, and it will show you what it's going to look like at the end. So you can take that when you have time and you've thought about what you're going to do, the escape room that you want to make. You'll go through those different things. I like to, even sometimes when I'm making a new one, I'll forget. I'll be like, how did I do that? So I'll just have it up on one screen. I'll have it running over here, and then I'll just do it step by step while I'm working on it. So I'm sure because you are school counselors, you are aware of the coolest thing in the world called Canva. And if you aren't, go out to canva.com and you can get an educator account. And the educator account is amazing because it's just like the professional account that people pay for, but because we're educators, they give it to us for free. I love Canva because I'm able to make really neat interactive presentations. I'm able to make videos on that, and I'm able to make the neat things that I need for my form. I am going to make a custom header for my Google form, and you will want to come over here, and it allows you to create a new design, and that allows you to put in a custom size. So for Google Forms, the custom size that you're going to want is 1600 pixels by 400 pixels, and that will bring you up to a little bit area where you can make this fun header in there. So it's 1600 by 400 pixels. I also use Canva to make the different parts of the clue that you were seeing. So here's the little part of the clue that you were seeing, and I made those in Canva. And again, it gives you a custom size. So you can choose whatever size that you want to make it. If you want a square, if you want a rectangle, whatever, you can use that. You can go into Canva Elements and find whatever you like. So in this instance, I needed an old-timey telephone. I was able to take that from Canva and put it right into it, and it was allowing me to do this. Where do I get my clue information? Where do I get my video? How do I make the videos, and how do I present this to them? The way that I make the videos is on my Mac. QuickTime will allow you to do a recording of yourself. So I use QuickTime to do that. I also use QuickTime to show you all of the different things in the Google tutorial so that you can go through that step by step. And it's very clear, it records really well. So when you put it into your video, it looks great. It looks amazing. I also use ChatGPT. And I know everyone's like, no, not ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. You can go into it and you can say, hey, I need a riddle for third graders that goes along with friendship. And it will come up with a riddle for you. You have to be very specific with it, though. You have to say riddle, third graders, and then you have to tell it exactly what you want the clue to look like. And the more specific you are, the better the clue will be. So I'll type that in there. Maybe I don't like it. Maybe I think, this is a little bit too hard. I wanted to make it easier. I'll just tell it, make it simpler, and it will do that for you. Also, all of the different parts that you saw where I had a large amount of text. Let me bring that up for you. So here.
So let's take a minute.
I've got a little amount of text here where I have talked about the room. I just told ChatGPT, I'm doing this Mystery Mansion escape game. I need to be able to have something here that will explain what the room looks like. It brings that out for me. Sometimes it's a little bit fancy in the way that it talks. So I will go in there and I will tweak it for the age group that I'm working with. But don't spend a ton of time coming up with this stuff yourself. When we have this technology that's absolutely amazing and it's very easy for us, then let's use it. Let's use it so we can save time and be more effective. All right, so here we have the little header that I was using on my YouTube video that I had for them to link to at the very beginning. Again, I made that in Canva. I always hang on, as I was saying, to the clue key. So here's my clue key for the Google Form Mystery Mansion that you were able to see. So if you'd like to go through the link that I have for you, you can go into it, you can click through the different parts of it, and you can see how it actually works. Now, I'm going to show you the Google Form escape room that my student and I made for her class. She had been working on emotions and the brain, different parts of the brain. So we made it where she goes into Dr. Synapse's lab, and here's the description of the lab again. My good friend ChatGPT helped out with that. Here's the little beginning video. My husband is a lot of fun. I was like, hey, will you help me out? Will you be Dr. Synapse and give them some crazy zany tips and zany clues? So when you go in there and you checked out the videos, that is my husband being absolutely crazy. So right here is the clue key for Dr. Synapse's lab. So when you go through that, here's the key. And if you guys decide, hey, this is neat, I would like to use this with my kids, and this is going to be 6th graders that Meredith used it with, it just goes along with their ages, and it goes along with the different types of puzzles that they can come up with. And it also goes along with her presentation. So if you guys are interested in her presentation and you'd like her Google Slides on that, just send me an email and I am happy to help you out with that. I have the links for you for all the different things that I showed in the video. And I have the links to the different tutorials and different Google Forms. So again, if you have questions, you can email me at moon@ulm.edu. So I'm going to close this right now so I can have Meredith come on and she can tell you a little bit about what her experience was like while she was creating the Google form and what the experience was like while she was working with the students in the classroom. So I hope that you enjoyed this part. I hope this helps you out a little bit in understanding how to make escape rooms for your kids. I want you to go and check out the tutorial that I have on YouTube that shows you all the different steps on how you can make it. And I look forward to sharing some more things with you soon.
Hi, my name is Meredith Wilson, and I'm a school counselor for Portland Public Schools at a middle school level and an elementary level. And Dr. Moon and I work together with my other classmates to create a Google Forms escape room. I was able to do that escape room with one of my sixth grade classes. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the experience of making the Google form and then how it went in that classroom. So the first question I have is, was it hard to make the Google form? And I had a lot of help, both from Dr. Moon and my colleagues and my classmates. But I did not find it hard to make a Google form. I have a lot of experience with Google Forms, so that probably helps with understanding how to do the flow in terms of asking the question. And if they get it right, this is what pops up. And if they get it wrong, this is what pops up. So I would say that definitely build it enough time to build it, run it through several times, including putting in incorrect answers to see what pops up, and just being familiar with the flow of it and making sure that it actually goes the way you want it to go with right and wrong answers. I did not pre-select student groups for the escape room. My students in this room are already clumped in by table. And so I also gave them the option if they wanted to work alone or with a group. Most students actually wanted to work by themselves. And so they all had headphones, they plugged them into their Chromebooks, which are school issued, and many of them wanted to do it on their own. There was a group that kind of worked together, but I think they ended up ultimately doing it on their own because it was a little hard for four of them to gather around a single screen. I think what also would have happened in the classroom is that they would have been hearing answers from other tables, which would have dampened the experience a bit. And so on some level, I think it can also be really good to have it be a solo activity for kids to work through it on their own with headphones so that you're not sharing answers. It seemed to work really well with my group. Were there questions that the students struggled with? Which ones? And if they struggled, did they get easily frustrated? I would say that the questions that we made were probably more at an elementary level than a sixth grade level. So they didn't really struggle with any of the questions. In fact, some of the feedback that I got was, we really liked it, make it harder. And so I think that was something that I would reflect on a bit and make sure that the questions were more at grade level and a little more challenging. Um, they Most of the time, what they struggled with was just input. Basically, they would capitalize words that the key had as uncapitalized. And so they'd be like, I'm putting in the right word, but it won't accept it. And I'm like, oh, lowercase at the beginning, and it would accept it. Um, and so they got frustrated, but not because of the level of the question, more about just kind of user error and how we designed it. They liked the questions with the video. I will say I did not realize that YouTube was blocked for all videos on our student Chromebooks. When I teach, I use YouTube a lot, and so I've never had issues with YouTube not showing up. When they opened the escape room on their Chromebooks and got to the videos, they were all blocked. So I would say that if you're doing this and you're including YouTube or you're including videos, make sure that YouTube is either unblocked for your school, that those videos are unblocked, or download the videos and upload them as an actual video file, not a YouTube link. Because the kids really liked the videos, but they couldn't access them. And so we tried to project them up on the screen and it was out of order. And so they appreciated the videos, and I can see that they would have been really, really great. Um, but because of the technical issue of YouTube, we were unable to really use them in the way that we intended. What kind of comments did I get from the escape room from students? They were really excited about it. When I introduced the concept, I was like, "Have any of you done an escape room before?" And they were all like, "Yes, yes, yes." Or the students that hadn't, when the students explained to them what it was, they were really excited about it. Even with all of these bumps along the way for doing it the first time, the kids still really liked it. And so um, they enjoyed kind of the, zaniness of the videos and of the professor or Dr. Synapse. They liked that. They liked the gamification of the content that we had been doing. They really enjoyed the cipher activities. And so they were like, more of those, and the videos were fun. Um, and so they were engaged. It was something different, and yet it solidified all of the content that we've been talking about in class. And it was interesting in this class when I had presented on these topics before. They're really smart kids, but I didn't always get um, the reactions from them that indicated that they could hear what I was saying and they were paying attention and processing the content I was giving them. Through this escape room, it was very clear that they had been paying attention because they were going through the questions going, "Oh, I know this one. Oh, I know this one. Oh, I know this one." And they were able to complete the escape room in a pretty reasonable amount of time, which means that they knew the answers. They knew what they were putting in. And so it was a really cool way for me to check for understanding in a non-traditional way. And so I can kind of gain insight on what they're absorbing through my lessons, even when I'm not always sure in the moment that they're paying attention or getting what I'm saying. The students did finish quickly and have time left over, partially because the questions weren't hard enough for them. And so in the future, I think if I were to up the question difficulty, it would take a longer amount of time. If I were to include more video questions, that would also take time because they would have to watch them. And I think we would get to that comfortable 20-minute period um, a bit, a bit better. Um, I'd say that the escape room was effective in terms of enforcing student learning. As I mentioned before, sometimes it's unclear unless you do a formal pre and post assessment for your lessons, what the kids are getting. And I can find the formal pre and post assessment for counseling lessons to be a little awkward and like too formal for what I'm doing. But using an escape room as the post assessment, I think is a really effective way for them to demonstrate what they know, um, how quickly they get through, how it can show how deep their understanding is. And it's a fun way to do it in a way that's distinct from their academic classes, but also gives us the information we need to know about whether they're understanding what we're teaching. So ultimately, yes, I would absolutely do an escape room again. And I would do it with a couple different classes. I think the biggest thing in middle school will be making it challenging enough for them while making it accessible enough to do in a 20-30 minute period. But that's a challenge I'm willing to take because of the positive feedback that the kids gave about their experience and their enthusiasm with it.
We have just enough time left in the presentation today to go over the tutorial, and then I will be here at the end of the presentation to answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you today showing you the exciting way that you can make your very own adventures in your very own escape rooms inside of Google Forms. So the first thing I do is go to Google Forms, I open that up, and I'm going to start with a blank document. For this particular one that I'm going to do, I am going to begin by setting up my theme. And the theme is basically what you want it to look like. So over here, I have selected different fonts. So for my header, I have selected this Fajala 1 at 24 points. My question, I have also chosen that just because sometimes I like fonts and I think, oh, they're so fun. And then the text, I've used Roboto 12. And whenever I choose a text that's actually going to be the questions, I want to make sure that it's a text that's readable. So not just a text that I think is fun, but one that's not going to be hard for the kids when they're working with it. For my header, I am going to choose an image. I have already made my header. I am going to show you how I did that over in Canva. So if you're not familiar with Canva, it's a wonderful design program, and it has an educator account that will let you make a whole lot of different things. So prior to this, I made my Mystery Mansion header. Let me bring that in and it'll load it up. Okay, and I am happy with it. And the last thing that I will choose is my color, and I wanted that neat purple look. I don't see it there, so I will make me a purple. There, I like that. I'm adding it and I am selecting it. So now I have the background all ready to go for my Mystery Mansion Friendship Charade Escape. I particularly like this whole Google Forms because I can make a escape room, but I can have different kids in small groups working on it at the same time. So that way they can come in and use their Chromebook or use their iPads. You can put them in small groups of 3 so that they can work together. So you can have a whole class of 30, but then you can have, smaller groups in there kind of working on everything at the same time. They don't all have to work together as an entire class. So to begin, I have decided to say, welcome to the Mystery Mansion. To the Mystery Mansion. All right, exclamation, because we're excited that they're there. And I have already written up a little bit of blurb to kind of give them the ambiance of what they should expect at the Mystery Mansion. So we say, welcome to the Mystery Mansion, an ancient estate rumored to be filled with enigmatic puzzles and secrets. As a group of high school students, you have accidentally stumbled upon this old mansion, believed to be holding the key to understanding the essence of true friendship. Your mission is to navigate the mansion's perplexing rooms by solving charade-based puzzles that unravel the mysteries hidden within. I had just put high school students in. This one is actually better for middle school students. Now I'm going to add a video that I have already made over in YouTube. Let me get my link for that. Copy it. I can paste it in here. And it's going to pull this up. I will select it. And now I have my little video. So let's go over here and check it out over in the preview. So when they come in, they will come to the Mystery Mansion. It will say hello to them. If we click on the
Hi
video,
guys, welcome to the Mystery Mansion. This is a escape room, a charade escape room. What you guys are going to do here at the Mystery Mansion is you will go through different rooms. And as you go into the room, there is going to be a clue for you. You guys will take the clue. One of you will open it and read what the answer is. That person is going to act out the clue. All of you.
so that gives you a way to give an introduction about what you're going to do. All right. So after that, you are going to add a section break. And when you add a section break, if we go back over to the preview, we don't see that bottom question anymore. So they're going to be able to go to the next section onto the very first clue. Now that we have our theme set and we have our intro slide completed, we're going to start working on the questions. So for section 2, we are welcoming everyone to the empathy parlor. And I have already done my writing out for that. And I'll bring those over. All right, so here we have the parlor of the mansion is serene, having an air of elegance and comfort. So it goes on, and once they get down to it, they are going to have to solve a charade to move over into the next room. So this is where your question starts. It will ask you to title your question. And so I have made a little thing over in Canva to show what to give the clue. So I have written over here that have one student open the envelope and act out the clue, but enter your answers in capital letters because that's going to be very important for it to be able to work. So to be able to do this, we're going to select short answer, and I'm going to bring in the picture of my clue over here for the empathy parlor. Okay. Now my clue is in there. I'm a gesture of caring and understanding, act it out. And then I'm going to need to go to this place that says required. and response validation. You will choose text, and the text, the answer for this one that they're going to have to act out is a hug. So I make sure that hug is in all caps, and then it will ask you to put in a custom error text, which can be something like, nope, try again. And that will be our second one. So let's move on to the next section. Here, the students move into the communication attic. Congratulations, you have moved into the attic. Again, I have written out my little blurb just for the sake of time. All right, they are finding a clue under an old telephone. I am going to add the question section on this. So I'll click a plus to add a question. Again, I am going to give them some direction on opening the envelope and writing everything in capitals, because that's very important for them to be able to do that. I'm also going to add the little clue that I made over in Canva, which is for the communication attic. I'm bringing that in. And then once again, I go to required and then response validation. I will select text, and the answer for this one is going to be a high five. So I will get high five that's put in there, and then again my custom error. Sorry. Try again. And the students will continue to work valiantly until they move on. So once they get that, they will be moving into the friendship foyer. And I've only got a few of these, but I do want to walk you through the ones that I have, just so that you understand exactly how it works. And you can pull this up on YouTube when you're at home and look at it and be like, oh yeah, now I remember exactly how to do it. So I have my description that I've written, okay, about the friendship foyer. And I'm going to add my question. And again, I encourage them to give the response in capitals. It's a short answer. I want to add this image here, and my image has been made in Canva prior. All right, and the answer to this one is a pinky promise. So go to required, response validation, text, nope. And that's that. So I'm going to add another section to it. This one is going to be the caring kitchen. Make sure I got it right. Yes, okay, so this one is a little bit different. They come into the caring kitchen. Caring kitchen. Now this one I have done just a little bit differently. So when I add my question, again, it will be a short answer. But I have given them a cipher on this one. And I was able to use a cipher program to be able to create the cipher. So here is the cipher key. All right. And then the question for the cipher key, the clue is going to be some letters. And I will put that in there. So they're going to have to solve this cipher in order to be able to, or this is an alphabet, a backwards alphabet. They're going to have to solve that one in order to be able to get to the clue. And if they work together, then the answer to the clue is going to be support. And once again, that is going to be in all caps. Have moved on into the compassion garden. I have the text for that. Awesome, you have entered the compassion garden. And I have have my description, and now I'm going to add an additional question. And of course, it's going to be a short answer question. In this one, I have also created a little fun emoji key that they will need to use to solve a issue. So let me get the little key over here. Okay, I'm pulling it over. Oops, hang on. Sorry. I will need to put my key up here so that they'll be able to look at it. All right, perfect. I'm pulling it over. Okay, and you can see that right there I have made this really cute, well, I didn't make it, and I'm giving you the link on where you can make that, but it uses emojis. And the question asks them to look at a response and figure out together, using the key, what it means. All right, and when you work at it and you figure out what it is, the correct answer is kindness. So I will go through the response validation. The text contains, and it is kindness. Oops. Try again. All right, we have that, and let's go to our next section, which I believe is the very last one for this. All right, they have to go through the Harmony Library, the final room of the mansion. We have our description. Okay, I'm going to add my question. Here is the clue that I have made over in Canva. Okay, and I'm also going to remind them about the capital letters, just in case they have forgotten. There we go, short answer. And the answer to this at the very end, yay, is friendship. All right, so they solve that, and then we come to the very, very last part of the entire one, where we tell them congratulations that they have solved all the mysteries and that they are good to go. Actually, this is not the right one. I will add just another section. There we go. Okay, over here I am going to put in my picture that I have made that tells them that they have done everything just right. My congratulations to them. All right. And it comes up, you have made it through the Mystery Mansion, see Dr. Moon for your prize. And I will have a fun prize for them. And we can write, congratulations, yay, you finished. Okay, so that's that. After you have put your whole thing together, you're gonna wanna come over here to preview. And preview is gonna let you go through your entire thing to make sure there's no bugs in it, okay? To make sure you have it all written out correctly, you have everything where you want it to go. And so let's just kind of look at this real quick and make sure that it's working. So our first one, the answer was hugs. It's a hug. Perfect, that one works. I am in the communication attic, and the answer to that one was high five. Typing it in there in all caps. Perfect, it works. The friendship foyer, that one is a pinky promise. Nice, it's all working. We're in the caring kitchen, and we have the key. It looks like right here there's an extra space. So I, who likes everything to be absolutely perfect, I would probably go back and edit that to make sure that it was working right. So we have support. It works. Compassion Garden, again, I'm seeing a little thing there that I would go back and fix. Compassion Garden is kindness. And we get to the final one with the answer is friendship. And you will want to be sure that you put your the key somewhere, because ultimately you will forget what you thought it was and you will be very unhappy with yourself. So they have completed it, they have won, and congratulations, that has been the Mystery Mansion. So I hope that's helpful for you to be able to make maybe some of your first escape rooms in Google Forms. This is a great way to begin and then kind of ease yourself into some of the more difficult puzzles that you can make with stations around your room, different things like that.